Maybe.
Maybe.
No, it's afternoon.
Doesn't feel like it.
Oh my God, that Earl Grey is hot. Just about burned myself.
It's good.
It is good. So, how have you been?
Good.
It's been a few days since we've really, gotten to talk, gotten to chat.
Oh, it's been a couple weeks.
You told me the story of what happened the other night, but yeah, that was.
Which one?
It was the long one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's neither
it's,
here nor
it's
there.
irrelevant.
Yeah, irrelevant.
No,
But,
it's been a good few weeks.
Yeah,
Just grinding.
yeah.
Trying to stay focused on things I need to be focused on.
It's not always easy.
No.
It's definitely not easy.
How are you?
I'm good, actually. Bank's feeling a little better this week, so that's been good.
Mm-hmm.
I've been
Recuperating from that.
I'm really trying to fight the urge to spend money, which is pretty much constant in my brain at all times. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you could use new cords, or you could use this or that, or camera, or
Anything.
lens, or pretty much anything.
Mhm.
Shoes, clothes, food,
Korean barbecue.
date. Yeah, which I unfortunately had to turn down because that's sounds great. I mean, I would definitely do that, but
We will eventually.
yeah,
Eventually.
it'll be good.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
So, what do you want to talk about this morning?
I don't know. You picked up smoking weed again.
I did. I did do that. You said you weren't going to mention it, so that's really nice.
I mean, come on.
It's been nice, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a really nice tolerance break, and then I've been doing that a lot recently. Like, I'll quit for a while, build that back up. Until then, it's like 2 weeks, and then I'm like, you know what? I could use a J. I could use one, and
I mean, it's good to do that with everything.
it is.
You know, too much of something is just. It's not
Yeah, I try not to get oversaturated. I'm already oversaturated.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Yeah.
Play enough league for like 4 people.
Yeah. Well, only recently have I started doing that. It's a fun game though.
25% of the time.
And the other 25% you're just trying to.
Screaming at your teammates, being toxic.
I know way
Frustrating.
too much lingo from that now that I didn't know before.
It's a
that's
whole
filling
like
up.
culture thing.
There's a lot there.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, honestly. I mean,
Well, yeah, when you dive into like eSports culture and like the realm that's eSports is crazy. It's a whole thing that most people don't even know exists.
what was the first game system that you played?
That I played.
That you played. That you were like, yeah, the first one that you were like, this is not okay. Not like first one. The first one you fell in love with, where you were like, damn, I want to play the shit out of this game for like 22 hours.
Well, I mean, the first one I fell in love with was my Game Boy Color.
Okay.
You know, my Pokemon games. That was pretty. I mean, that's pretty much the beginning for me. But I also, had a Nintendo 64 and Super Nintendo. I used to play all that stuff. But I mean, yeah, it was Game Boy with my Pokemon games, which and then from there, my Xbox with Halo, Fable.
Oh yeah.
And that's because when I got my Xbox and my Xbox 360, that was when like online gaming, I was exposed to that.
That was quite a time.
And then I just lost my whole life to that because I'm so competitive.
Dude, it was so different too than any of the other games that had been coming out. Like, that time was one of the funnest times for me. That's when I didn't have a lot of access. I played like Nintendo 64, but I didn't really get to dive in that much. Like, we just had one, and then I played those, like the games we had like 3 games, but there was never any like.
Yeah, and I mean like when I was younger and we had access to those things, like I was at a point in my life where I didn't care. I was like, I'd rather be outside, playing around in the dirt.
Exactly.
And then,
especially when you lived where we lived.
Yeah.
It's like
there's so many other things.
I'm gonna step outside and there's all I can see are hills and there's nothing but like wilderness.
Yeah.
In each direction. Go ahead and drive or walk or do whatever.
That was a time period where like going outdoors was more captivating than sitting in front of a screen.
For sure.
And now you can't blame these kids for sitting around inside all day because what they're playing is just so far ahead of anything that we were playing at that age.
Even
it's like,
at that time when we say that, there's a specific time, right, when like Xbox came out with Halo, and Bungie came out with Halo.
That was like the breaking point, of where like, I could go outside and potentially hurt myself or stay inside and kill aliens for 6 hours.
I just remember being at a new school where I didn't know anybody, and then my dad actually got an Xbox and got Halo for himself because he was a gamer.
Nice.
And he was gaming it, and I like peeked around the corner and was like, oh, what are they playing? It's like, of course, it's rated M for mature, and it was like right when all the ratings things were really starting to like be a thing. And I remember stealing the pamphlet that was inside of the game case and taking it to school. I didn't have any friends yet. I didn't know anybody. And I was just like chilling there, like reading all the enemies
just
and stuff.
Daydreaming about like being able to get your hands on this game. Yeah.
And then he finally let me play it, and it was over, dude. From Halo 1 to Halo 3, I spent so much time just gaming that shit.
My uncle
fun.
Was a huge part of my, gaming career and exposing me to like video games. Because, he was into computers and stuff. So, when I was growing up, we'd go visit for, what holiday or whatever. And my dad and him would be playing like Unreal Tournament on the computer, like OG, like first person, like one of the first person shooter, like arena, like games online. Like that was, huge. And I was just, I wanted to watch them play, but it was mature, Yeah. And so I didn't get to really get my hands on it, and then finally, like I gamed with my uncle. For years and years and years. Mm-hmm. I mean he's a big part of like what makes my family get together so fun because we just sit around and we can talk about video games.
Did you ever play the Mech Warrior games on PC? Mm-hmm. That was I think the first one I fell in love with.
Yeah.
On the real Mech Warrior 2 and like Mech Warrior 3.
When I started PC gaming, it was like
I love those games.
Age of Empires and like World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm. I didn't get into any of that.
Warcraft, not like the MMO, like the real-time strategy.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was like web browser games, and then like Call of Duties and stuff like that.
Of course.
But I mean, it's crazy. Like why would these kids want to do anything other than play these games that are coming out? Because they're insane.
They are insane.
I mean,
so cool.
Jumping into a whole new world, with just clicking a button is
and being able to test your merit against millions of other people and be able to like have even if it's just a small amount of clout, but just being like, I'm good at this.
Well, I mean, it's like sports and like wrestling, like.
Damn, he's a good wrestler.
Well, like when you wrestle somebody and you win a wrestling match, it's like, yo, I dominated this other person. I beat you.
Yeah.
Like I beat you, and so that feeling of no scoping, 360 no scoping a kid from across
360
the map,
no scoping a kid.
That feeling of like, yo, I literally just shit on you. Not even just shit on you, but I shit on you with unnecessary moves, like. It's a confidence builder, I mean,
we can all say that we've been to, the dark side of gaming, which is the trolling.
Yeah.
Because
see, that's half the fun, though. An Xbox 360 lobby in like 2010, 2011 was the most toxic, racist.
Yeah.
Like, if my parents heard any of the stuff that went down on those lobbies, they would be scarred for life. And they.
I mean, you can say that about anybody's friend group.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's so funny because like I'd be gaming and I'd be like, call somebody a little bitch or something, and my mom would be like, yo,
dude,
quit being mean to kids online.
Kids
I'm like, you do not understand what this kid just said to me.
Kids were ruthless. Talking about families, talking about what I'm about to do.
Like send me your address, I'm gonna murder you.
It's like the worst kind of.
Oh god, the racism, the toxicity.
It was bad. It was bad. And all you could do to those kids was just, you kill them and then you teabag them.
It's I'm better than you.
It's awful. It was awful.
But I do that now, dude. There's nothing like getting into a Call of Duty lobby with your boys and just talking shit to somebody.
There's nothing quite like that.
And backing it up.
Yeah.
Especially when you're with your boys. When we have 6 of your friends.
I enjoy it when the other person is doing something that is deserving of it. That's when I love it the most. When
in my age, I stopped starting it. But I love finishing it.
There you go. There you go.
It depends what kind of mood I'm in. If I'm feeling real lively and I'm feeling a little frisky, I'll throw out a little like, what'd you say? little pussy. You know,
Oh my God.
Started up hot.
Why not? It's on the mic, you know. They don't know where you're at.
I mean, that's the thing with fucking.
I've always just thought it was so funny.
That's the thing with the internet and online bullying and shit is you can say something to somebody without dealing with the consequences and dealing with the reaction.
Depending on what you say.
Well, it's like nobody would say those things to somebody face to face because something's going to happen.
Yeah.
But since you don't even know where in the world I am. I can call you a little bitch because you're not gonna do shit about it.
That's when you were a kid. That was the thing. You felt safe in that.
Well, I mean that's the thing too. Like, yeah, you're so used to talking shit online, and that one time you slip up in person, you get knocked the fuck out.
You're like, oh, what have video games been teaching me? It's those violent games. No, it's the violent people playing those games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think video games make people violent.
I don't think so either.
No, it's the same. It's like saying music influences people to be violent. Like,
yeah,
to an extent, but it's like I think you already got some fucked up things in your head.
I'd say maybe like starting having a bad situation or like going through something horrible might do that. But this video game, I don't think is.
There's other influences.
Yeah,
it's like people just don't like change.
Change is hard.
Anything that's new and different is bad for no reason.
Yeah,
you know.
I feel that.
Goodness,
it's crazy, man.
Yeah. I haven't had my video games for like the last month and a half. They're all at home. I don't have them out here.
I gave up video games for almost 2 years.
Yeah, I mean it's a good thing. I like not having them around. Sometimes keeps me more focused on things that matter. But I also enjoy, being able to like hang out with my friends as an adult without actually being around. Like there's something to be said for like the camaraderie you get on playing video games with random people.
Absolutely.
I mean, I met a kid.
Make friends that way.
I met a kid in my 360 days, which is like 10 years ago, and we've played video games ever since. Never met him before in my life.
Yeah.
And a couple years ago, he drove out from Indiana and stayed with me for a week.
That's awesome.
Like the bond that you can make with people just over a video game is so strong, it's almost unbelievable. Because I mean, you get to see every side of somebody's emotions,
and
you get to see
how they open up too with somebody that's a complete stranger. Where it's like there is, like you said, there is no causality. Like it's just here's this person who's willing to play with me, and then by just being in his ear and being open and like being an empathetic person, you can literally you just share this experience back and forth.
Well, you get to see every side of somebody when they're playing video games. You get to see how they react when they're angry, how they react when they're frustrated, how they react when they're excited, and they could be having a shitty day and they hop online, and so you get to see more sides of somebody playing video games with them than you do just like being their friend. Like you really get to know somebody by playing games with them. It's really crazy.
Games have always been a really important part of, I mean, I feel like a lot of people's lives, whether we know it or not. I mean, just and even just like the professional and college and all of that shit. Like I remember growing up, like that was still a thing that we all did, where you either were playing soccer or you were doing this or you were playing games that may not have been recognized as a sport back then, but everybody had like that form of entertainment.
Well, it builds teamwork. And I mean, I used to be so competitive. I was, toxic and obnoxious on video games, but now I use it to get that out. It's like I'll hop on video games, and play for a little bit, and I'll get my competitive, shit out, and then I don't carry it around with me,
For sure.
It's a nice outlet for that. But I mean,
it's also a good distraction too.
Yeah, good. Sometimes not good though.
It's like any tool, that's like weed for me. Like some people can smoke weed all day and be fine and love that, and I find that I have to taper it and tailor it for my own use. And I feel like everybody has to like do that in their own way and figure out what works best for them with everything, whether it's video games or working out or anything.
I grew up smoking weed, for the social part of it.
Yeah, me too.
Like when I got older, I realized like I didn't ever actually really enjoy it that much. It was just because my friends were smoking weed.
The people you're smoking with. And
well, I mean, like, yeah, that definitely influenced me. And like, don't get me wrong, I've had some fun times smoking some weed. But, I haven't smoked weed in a really long time. It just doesn't do it for me. I get no benefit out of it, and I don't even enjoy it. It's not like.
I mean, it's not something that you necessarily need either.
Oh, no, not at all.
That's another great thing about it. So I feel like a lot of people do in a good way.
Oh, 100%.
And that's another. It's a crazy thing. It's just another example of how everybody is so different.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, I'm about to expose some marijuana theories, but like, people smoke marijuana for migraines, and it helps their migraines.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything but amplify my migraine if I smoke weed. It does nothing.
Do you like search down specific strains and stuff and try that route?
Dude, I've smoked enough weed that it's just like it's one of those things. It actually if I get too high and I'm hungry, I'll be so anxious that I won't eat.
I found that.
Like,
I've had that happen.
It doesn't help my anxiety. It makes me more anxious. It just doesn't affect me in the ways that it helps other people.
Yeah.
But
I've had that a lot. That's something I've definitely struggled with for sure. Is like getting like anxious when I smoke.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times why I do my breaks and stuff, because I feel like if you have this endocannabinoid system in your body, just like anything else, I mean, you drink too much water, it's not good for you. You eat too much food, it's not good for you. If you saturate yourself with too many cannabinoids, it's probably not good for you either. And you may end up causing the things you're trying to get away from, like anxiety and like having nausea and those certain things, because it's overdone. Yeah. And your body's like, whoa, because that's all tied in, like the endocannabinoids in your liver and your organs and your brain and your lungs and your like they're everywhere. And so that's I don't know. It's interesting.
I mean, I love smoking, weed that has no THC in it.
Yeah, like just CBD weed,
dude. Because
like with a little bit of THC.
It helps me sleep.
Yeah,
like it'll put me to bed.
And that AC/DC and stuff like that.
Without getting high, it makes me less anxious.
Yeah,
and I get the effects that I'm probably getting from weed with THC in it, but those are normally trumped by, like the high.
Yeah.
And that's what affects my brain. Is with CBD, I'm not high, so my brain's not, being stimulated from being high, but my body's like, ooh, like this is gonna help you. It helps me with sleeping and being anxious and stuff, and I can feel it, which is really cool. And it's cool that we have that option to, you can just get the benefits of something without having, the psychoactive
use
part.
it like an herb.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing too with mushrooms now. People with depression are microdosing mushrooms.
What a great idea.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, triggers parts of your brain.
Results, you can't lie. Like, you can't argue against results.
Exactly.
Like, that's...
And I mean, people who argued against and lobbied against weed for the longest time, it was like, you're not even lobbying against it because you don't like it. You're just on another side. You know? I mean, we've all seen videos of people who have, seizures 12 times a day, and they take a little tincture and they become... Or
they take that RSO.
And
they get that on a mega dose of CBD and THC.
And they can have a conversation with you.
They can go from having a lot of seizures to having no seizures, or very, very little compared to what they would have otherwise without it.
How can you tell somebody that they're not allowed to have access to something like that?
But then give them access to these prescription medications that are going to totally destroy their other systems, just helping a single symptom, and then destroying immune systems and all kinds of other stuff like that.
I mean, we can dive so far into that. That's a deep hole. That's the whole money thing.
Yeah.
But oh man,
that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's been fun, living in a generation that decriminalized and legalized marijuana. It's a pretty huge thing.
It's an amazing thing for research purposes.
Yeah,
that's a huge thing.
When that happened, everybody was like, "Ooh, it's so excited." I'm like, dude, we just lived through history. We just, like, we're a huge part of that.
Yeah.
That's what was exciting for me was.
Yeah, I mean, I got into an industry. It was legalized recreational in Colorado in 2014, January 1st, 2014. And then I remember starting exactly 1 year on January 1st at that grow.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, even before that, though, the medical, the decriminalization, like, all that was amazing to be, and like, being a part of all that was super cool.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Watching it grow to where it is now. And now it's obnoxious to me, where it's like, people take it like too far, like, I hate walking into the dispensary. Well, one, I don't smoke anyway, so I'm never in there, but when I am in there, it's like they take it to a whole another level of, like, unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's like, I just want to walk in, grab what I want, pay for it, and get out. I don't need this extra fluff, and it's just, I'm excited for that to die out. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited for, everybody's trying to be, their own company and, like, have something that other people don't. But it's like, when I want to buy some beer, I just go to a liquor store and buy some beer. The dude selling me the alcohol is like, dude, that alcohol makes me feel a certain type of way. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Just give me it,
Right.
I don't need all this extra stuff. But, yeah, I mean, that'll die down eventually.
I think a lot of that comes to, like, the ownership style of the people that own the dispensaries, because there's a lot of dispensaries that are like what you've talked about, which are like, you walk in and there's just two dudes behind the counter and there's bars and they say, "What are you looking for? Indica or sativa?" And you're like, they got a few options or whatever. And I mean, I like any store, whether it's a weed store or otherwise, if they had enough gumption and marketing sense to be as poppin' as these dispensaries are, they'd probably be a lot more successful.
I mean,
because you pop off and you try to draw people in the doors and you're actively trying to build your market. That's how you do good business.
Yeah. So, that's. I mean, because it's a new industry, so like, that's what they're doing. But it's going to end up, just dying down, and it's not going to actually matter in the end.
Yeah, it's just super interesting too, because it's such a new thing. Like, these other companies have been in business for 100 years.
Yeah.
Like, that's a long time to have all the tax, everything, and the relationships built with all of these people. And then you have now all these other companies starting out super fresh, just like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I mean,
it's interesting.
The fact that, like, people still buy black market weed because it's easier to just go, like, buy some weed from their homie instead of, like, going in and dealing with, like, a store. It kind of says something,
I don't know. I have to disagree, just because, like, when I'm, like, as a bud tender, I'll have people that come in and, like, they just want, like, the cheapest thing you have, because they're looking for, that's the thing that's in their mind. They're like, I have this, I want to get the cheapest amount for the most. They're not going for quality, they want quantity. And that's a 30-second transaction.
Yeah.
I want it to be longer, because I want that person to be able to enjoy really good cannabis if they can afford it.
Yeah. I mean, I think the good side of that is, when people who haven't smoked weed before and they have no idea what they're getting into.
Exactly.
Like,
that's what dispensaries are for.
Being there to explain to them that they shouldn't eat a whole marijuana brownie that has 500 milligrams
in one 10-pack. I'll eat 10 now and then save my second 10-pack.
Well, I mean, you
later.
can save somebody from maybe a trip to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Explaining to them, like, hey, it takes this long for edibles to kick in compared to smoking.
Yeah.
And this is the recommended amounts to start off with.
Of course. I mean, there's a lot of very important information that a new smoker needs to know.
Yeah, and I think that's the best part about going into the store. For me, I mean, we grew up smoking, and I learned the hard way when it came to edibles and
I did too. The homemade ones, man. My God.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like, we didn't have that resource.
I was like, my bed feels like a hammock. There's something wrong with me. Like, I'm like, like, just way too much weed in there. And butter, and didn't do it right.
We learned the hard way. There was nobody sitting there.
Here's your formula. I want you to make it like this.
It's like there was nobody telling me like it's gonna take this long to kick in, and if I don't feel it in an hour, to just keep waiting instead of eat another dosage.
This is what you do: is you buy the edible, and you also have like a CBD tincture or like a CBD joint.
Yeah.
And then if you go overboard, you smoke the CBD, and it'll taper your anxiety and bring you down off.
But if you would have told me 10 years ago that there was weed that wouldn't get me high and I would be smoking it for other reasons, I would have been like, get the fuck out of my face.
Have you ever smoked an herbal cigarette?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Because there's so many
CBD.
There's a bunch of mixtures that people have that are
those are getting pretty popular.
Yeah, instead of tobacco, there's like all kinds of stuff you can roll up now as an herb and smoke it. And it's interesting, like we all smoke weed. Like why not smoke freaking St. John's wort, dude? Like, or whatever.
Right.
I don't know if that would have any kind of effect, but it makes me wonder. Like, damn, that lavender just. Oh my god.
I love it. What's our time at?
I think we're about at 25 minutes. So
nice.
Yeah,
that was a good conversation.
Yeah, that was good. We covered some ground.
Video games and weed.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I only say that when I'm high. When I'm not high, I'm like, yes, sir.
That's amazing.
Oh, God.
That's funny.
I always have to have one corny line in every episode. So, I think we should probably take a little break and then come back with story time.
You want to take a break? You just want to? Yeah, we can do that. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Are you telling story time this week?
I mean, I think I did story time last week, so.
I don't even know.
We'll have to think about it. Get back to it. All right.
Cool.
Well, we'll be right back. And we're back.
We're back
with the No Prescription Show.
Story time, baby.
Yeah, story time.
So you did last week's. This week, I'm going to tell a story about one of the first times you and I kind of really met.
So this is going like way back.
Way back, yeah.
Okay.
So, our friend group used to play a game called Fugitive. Right, so how did that go? So there'd be one person in the car driving around town, or a couple people in a car driving around town, and 10 to 15 other friends running around town in the dark, hiding from the person in the car. And if the person in the car spotlighted you, then you were caught.
Yeah.
And the game never actually got finished. It was always just it ended when the cops showed up because we were running through people's yards.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it went. And it wasn't even about being caught by your friend in the car. It was just like, how long can I lay in this person's backyard underneath their trampoline until somebody comes out, Or like, let's run in the backyard with the big, massive...
An excuse to trespass.
Yeah, exactly. And so...
Fugitive for real.
Yeah. I mean, the cops... always got called. I don't remember one time us playing Fugitive where I wasn't talking to a cop at the end of it.
Those poor cops in that town, man.
I mean, they're just like really, like they don't care.
Like,
we're kids, but it's like
there's nothing going on in town.
They're sick of freaking Margaret, 97 years old, down the street.
I'm telling you, they're in my backyard.
Yeah.
Get down here.
She's like, I'm not seeing things,
Hello, cop. Get down here.
And so one night, a game of Fugitive gets, busted by the cops, and we didn't know each other that well. But you, were in your car, and I jumped in the front seat, and I don't know if you had just bought the
Suburban.
Yeah, in the Suburban.
I was driving.
You were driving. I jumped in. We didn't really know each other, and there was a 30 rack in the front seat. And the cop is like, I didn't even know there was a cop there at that point.
Yeah.
And so I'm like passing this 30 rack of beer into the back seat, underage, obviously. And then next thing I know, I look over to the window and there's a cop standing there with a light, and I shit my pants, right? And and he was like, quit playing Fugitive, blah 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 blah. And, I was ready for him to be like, and you're getting MIPs for this alcohol. He didn't even mention alcohol at all.
Didn't see it. I don't know how he did.
I don't know how.
Oh
the moment of pure terror when you're underage and you're passing beer, you get caught by a cop drinking. Whew, boy. But that was a real bonding moment.
Some close calls. Like,
Oh man.
I remember I've gotten pulled over with a couple things in my car before, and I just remember seeing like Sam is another good friend of ours, and he was in the passenger seat one day, and the cop came by and asked to see what was in the glove box. He opens the glove box. I mean, I'm in high school. Okay? I'm not very organized, but he pops the thing, and it's just papers, and they're just boof everywhere. Like, I need to see your insurance. I had like 5 different insurance. They're all expired. He's got a hand on the door handle before the cop comes to the window, and he's like, "Dude, my house is like right over there. I'm just gonna go." I'm like, "No," I'm like, "Dude, do not exit the vehicle." If you get out and start sprinting, I'm gonna be going to jail.
The thing is, like, you know, when I used to smoke weed, I would just like hop in my car, throw my bag of weed in the glove compartment, and not even think about it. Yeah. And then like halfway through getting pulled over, and he's like, "Yo, can I get your insurance or whatever?" And I'm like, and I open it, and I'm like, "Oh, fuck."
And you're like looking at him, like waiting to see when he like looks behind.
Or you like shift your body so that you can't.
You're like, "Oh, here, I really need to lean over into the."
I can't find it, officer. Throw shit around.
My favorite is the like Loki, like
every time, you know, every time.
Oh yeah, first thing you're like, oh yeah,
the back scratched,
like
the seatbelt,
like you're stretching, like, oh, just another cop.
Or like when you're sitting at a light next to a cop, and you look over and you realize there's a cop, and you're just like
keeping your arm,
just like under here, you slide and just get the waist strap on at least, and then slip your arm under it.
And then you're like, oh hey. Jesus.
Oh man. Anything you can do to get out of trouble, right?
Right.
I mean, I've been let go by most cops, so I've been lucky. I've been certainly super lucky.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh man.
And on that note, I think we're about ready to wrap it up.
Wrap it up, baby.
And there's the shout out for this week is a good friend of mine, Cody Snow.
Yeah.
And he has a song called Steady and another song called Creative Flow.
He just released Creative Flow.
Yeah, it's a really cool track. The one that we're gonna have on the outro of this one is going to be Steady. And it's another super awesome one.
My favorite song of his.
He's a super talented guy.
Yeah.
Cody, we miss you. I hope you're doing well over there in Colorado, buddy. And that's it for this week.
Yeah, well, we'll roll that song for y'all, and I hope you enjoy it. And that was episode 4.
Yeah.
No Prescription Show.
Dude.
I'm Rylan.
I'm John.
And we'll see you later.
Slow, don't look back. You don't have to be the first one there, 'cause you sure won't be the last. We all go through the motions, too passionate not to show we care. Do you sleep while I dream? Could you breathe while I just bleed? And do you know what I mean? And could you breathe while I just bleed? And my love grows like a garden filled with roses dressed in poison-covered thorns, and secret words softly spoken. They help me feel like my heart is not so torn. When do you sleep feel deeply, and it's more than in my brain. I know what you're thinking, and baby, I'm not insane. Well, I wanna stay here and play the game my way, and I never gave up about the rules anyway. You tell me who I should be and what I like. You tell me who I should love and who to fight. You never gave me a chance to make it right, and now you're sitting pretty in this cold dark night. Tears running down your face like ice, and it doesn't make me feel too nice. But I didn't make you tell those lies, and you can't take it back, and it's hard to mind, so take it slow and don't look back. Well, you don't have to be the first one there, 'cause you sure won't be the last. And we all go through the motions, too passionate not to show.